Hey guys, Godfather of Anxiety here again. I just wanted to do a quick video on benign fasciculation syndrome and a recent thing that I have found that helps my BFS and has slowed down the twitching and especially helped with the cramping. So this is basically just an update to give you, first of all, guys, I'm not giving you medical advice. Always talk to your doctor. You know, I'll put that disclaimer right at the beginning of this. But just recently, I have started taking a supplement that I've noticed has helped, especially with the cramping, but even with the twitching somewhat. Now, as I say that, my calves are still twitching right now. It didn't eliminate the twitching, but it is less, and it's a fairly marked difference, especially with the cramping. So let me explain to you guys. First of all, I'll let you know what it is. It's magnesium. Now, you guys are probably saying, well, I've tried magnesium. It didn't do anything. It doesn't help with the twitching at all. And guys, what helps me might not help you. So that's definitely a possibility. But the thing that I found out, and I have to thank my wife for doing the research on this. Let me just give you the backstory here. My wife battles high blood pressure, and she has tried different medications, and they have terrible side effects. So she ended up looking for something that would help her with her blood pressure, and she ended up doing this deep dive on magnesium. And it come to find out, guys, there is many types of magnesium that you can supplement with. And the one that you've probably tried, that you got from your local, store, pharmacy or department store, probably wasn't the one that you needed to take. That would help with muscle twitching. So my wife, in her research with her blood pressure, which, by the way, she went from having very high blood pressure to having really good blood pressure just by supplementing with magnesium, the right type of magnesium for that. But she also, in her research, she ended up finding out that there was a couple of types of magnesium that are especially good for nerve issues. The first one, and the one that I think has helped me the most, is magnesium glycinate. And that has definitely, that's one of the things, because I take a complex that has 10 different types of magnesium in it. And it has really helped my my twitching, but especially it has kept my twitching from turning into cramps, which is really important, because you might be able to ignore the twitching, depending on your mental state, but you're not going to be able to ignore muscle cramps. I don't care who you are. So, yeah, anyways, they found that can help with, nerve communication, the communication between your brain and the nervous system. And so I take that. The other type is that helps with fibromyalgia, which is also, as you guys know, or maybe you're not aware of, but that is also a condition of the nervous system, and that involves pain. But magnesium malate is the one that helps, that has been shown to help with fibromyalgia. So let me explain here how this has gone. I've supplemented with this for quite a while now, at least 3 months probably. And when I first did it, when I first started taking it, I thought, well, you know what, it does. But the placebo effect, guys, you know all about that, right? I mean, we're anxious people, we're analytical people, we're looking for, oh, is this going to help? And then, I think that increases your chances of having the placebo effect. So I wasn't going to say anything, in my videos to my subscribers until I really could say with some certainty that this supplement is helping. And it's been about 3 months, and I can definitely say, guys, it has helped. It's helped quite a bit, especially with, again, like I say, with the cramping. So let me explain how this goes. I, usually once a week I have a cheat day, and I'll have sugar on that day. I'll have carbohydrates. And there'd be this cycle where I ended up having, I would always end up getting, the twitching gets way worse when I eat carbs. And then that translates into muscle cramps. And I would get muscle cramps anywheres. Abdominal muscle cramps, which are no fun. Quad and hamstring cramps simultaneously, which is almost impossible to bear. I mean, I would have issues. And ever since I've taken this, I'm not saying I've never cramped, but it's so much less. And then I've paid attention to the twitching as well, and the twitching is less too, guys. So I have had, maybe since I've taken this supplement, I've had a few days where it looked like a popcorn machine in my calves, but most of the time now it seems like it's reverted to how my benign fasciculation syndrome was back in, say, 2019, when really all I noticed were my calves. I have had some twitching in other places, but not anything significant or that really, triggers my health anxiety. So, I wanted to let you guys know anything for me, anything that helps a little is important to know. So yeah, so this has made it so that on my cheat days now, I maybe I'll get a slight cramp in my calf, but that's it. And from where I was before, where I would be in agony, and I was taking Pedialyte and Pediasure. I was adding all these electrolytes, and it would help, but it wouldn't. I'd still get them. It was just tough. It was tough to deal with, to be honest with you guys. But for the last 3 months, this has really helped. It seems to have slowed down the twitching in my calves, which is great. And again, I don't know if this is going to work for you guys. I really don't. I want to stress that. So I don't want to give you guys some kind of false hope. But even if it knocks off 50% of the twitching, or lowers that 50%, that might be enough to where if your anxiety has attached itself to the twitching, you'll be able to ignore the twitching. Because, improvement, I always noticed if something's improving, it's not something terrible, right? And that's what we always end up worrying about. We usually, how we come upon this benign fasciculation syndrome diagnosis is we're worried. We start having muscle twitches, and we worry that we have something like ALS or Parkinson's or MS or some other horrible nervous system condition. And once that seed is planted in your head, it's really difficult to just, ignore the muscle twitching. And then, of course, these diseases sometimes take years to diagnose. So if this is benign fasciculation syndrome, you end up getting stuck in this horrible spiral where you're waiting for test results, and you're waiting for this next 6-month checkup, and, it can drive you insane. So, if something does help and sends you in the right direction, maybe alleviates some cramping or lessens the twitching, I figure it was worth sharing with my subscribers. And that's what I've noticed with this. I've noticed that the twitching is less. And, I'll probably post a short or something to show the improvement, because Again, guys, it's still happening. I didn't stop twitching. The benign fasciculation syndrome did not go away, but it's a lot less. And it seems, where I really see it is on my cheat days when, it used to be if I had alcohol or sugar, the twitching would go crazy and it would turn into cramps. And, since I've been taking that supplement, that really hasn't happened. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I think it's important. I understand how something, some people might be, well, it's just muscle twitching. Well, muscle twitching is attached to some of the most horrible and horrific diseases you can have. And then it ends up affecting your mental health. So, I've done many videos on this subject, and you guys know how, it might just be muscle twitching, but once your mind gets connected to it, you're thinking, here we go. This is how I'm going to die. I'm going to need caretakers, and, trust me, guys, I've been there. So I just wanted to give you maybe a little hope. And again, I don't know if it's going to work for you guys, right? Supplements, everybody's body chemistry is different. I don't know if you guys were deficient in the magnesium that I clearly must have been deficient in, but if you are, it might help. And I also feel like, something like magnesium, unless you're taking some ridiculous, obscene amount of it, it's not going to be something where, you should always contact your doctor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discourage that. But once you have talked to your doctor about it, this is a low risk, potentially high reward thing. And I think it's important to share those with people who are going through this type of suffering with this condition that they call benign, but certainly can take on a life of its own. So, guys, thanks so much for all of the engagement. I love the comments. Keep them coming. I want to build a community here where we can share different things that we're going through. I think that a lot of the time, just knowing that you're not alone in these battles is maybe the most important thing. But thanks so much. And until my next video, guys, take care.